Hello, good morning or good day to you again from the admissions office. And this presentation is called Immigration FAQ, but and to be honest, we'll get to that a bit later. There were some other pending questions that we thought are quite important that we should answer them right away. I hope they will shed some more light on what's planned and what's coming up rather than make it all more confusing. Anyways, once again, if you have any questions, admissions@rsu.lv is the email where you should send them. You can also get in touch with the dean's offices. Now you know how to get in touch with student services in every single student or university department that might be of interest for you. But yeah, so immigration a bit later, but some other things that we thought are crucial for you to know. So this is something I owe to you. I promised, and on the first day of the orientation week I said that there are some people having birthdays this week. And yeah, the slides didn't show the names, but now I hope you can see yourself if you have birthday this week. So once again, very warm welcome and congratulations. And yeah, as you can see, we do have two people having their birthdays today, so a happy birthday to you both, and once again, welcome to the orientation week. Right. So there was a question, and it's actually repeating itself, and people are sending this to the dean's office and asking about the timetables, and the timetables don't match on the RSU website and my RSU. So this is for you. We just talked to the dean's office this morning, and please use my RSU timetable. That is the one which is the correct one, because on the website, as you can imagine, those timetables are actually for every single student group, every single study year, which means that you might have accidentally checked out the study plan for local students, for Latvian language program. You might have checked a different semester. You might have checked the winter semester that for us starts in February and ends in June, rather than that is, for example, in Germany, where this semester starting in September is considered to be winter semester. So on the website, I would say just skip that, because it might make it all more confusing rather than have some clarity in that. So my RSU timetable is the one you use. If I'm not mistaken, you can also put on a sort of weekly plan for you so that you see your current week, your next week. Because again, as classes are, some classes will start next week, some classes start next month. So you should check the dates, you should check your schedule carefully on my RSU page rather than on RSU website, because it has just so much more information that is either not relevant to your case or is meant for somebody else. So check your My RSU, that is the primary source of information for your timetables, and this is where you go. This is where you check what's coming up next week and the week after, and so on and so forth. Right, another question or a reminder once again. There are still 39 study contracts that we are waiting for. Actually, we received some today, so the current number is 34. We know that there are 7 study contracts coming from Sweden. We're supposed to receive them today by DHL. So again, there are going to be less than 30 study contracts missing. Please, if you haven't still submitted your study contract, they should be in Riga next week, because when you start your studies, you should be a full-time enrolled student, and your study contract is something we definitely need from you. So if you haven't done it, if there are some mistakes, please correct the study contract or send it out immediately so that we can receive it in due time. Right, the next thing that we have here and there already mentioned is an arrival form that we need you to fill. It's a requirement of our government and the Ministry of Education that you let us know when exactly you're coming to Riga, where you will be staying, where you have your self-isolation, and yeah, some other technical details that we are collecting from you. This is the same for current students, so the students who are in senior years, and also for you. This was mentioned in the email that you received 2 days ago. In the useful information part, there is a link to this form. If you go to that email, you will see the attached file, which has arrival information for new students, is the title. And in that file, the third paragraph is about this form. Then also we have included this form in the hyperlink that you see at the bottom of the slide. So this is also where you can check it and find out some more information about COVID. The same information that was sent to you is also copied to the website. So again, do a bit of a reading. I think it's 3 pages, and you will find out quite a lot of links, of contact information, and just explanations and suggestions on how to self-isolate, for example. We talked about it, but again, as I was saying in the beginning of this week, we are going to be repeating ourselves just because somebody might have missed information, and you know, double checking is always a good thing. It can be frustrating for some people, but please bear with us because somebody else might have missed the essential part of what we are saying. Right, so the form is compulsory, both for Erasmus students and for full-time degree-seeking students, so please do fill it in. It's a request from the university management, as it is also a request from the Latvian government in this pandemic situation. The next thing, and this is a question that we keep on getting quite frequently again, what documents? People have read the information that we sent out about the COVID information, and then what documents do I have to bring, and in case I came to Riga already, which documents I'm missing and stuff? This was mentioned to you in the offer letter email. We have also sent out the information this week. When you come to Riga, you should be having your educational documents with you. Which educational documents? Well, the ones that you applied to the university with. So for example, if you graduated from high school, from college, from secondary school, whatever you call it, those documents have to be with us. You have uploaded them to the online application form. All fine, all good. We allowed it this year because of the pandemic again. Then again, we would need these documents also in paper form so that we can keep them in your files. So the two types of documents we would be happy to receive is your originals of the educational documents, even though we don't suggest you to bring originals with you because again, you might have only one original copy of your documents, so we suggest to get them certified. And documents can be certified officially by basically two institutions. It can be your school principal that just puts a stamp and signs the document that it's a true copy. And it can also be any lawyer's office, any notary office in your country that can certify documents officially. Notary offices by law are always, can make translations of the documents as well. So in case you come from Germany and your Abiturzeugnis is only in German, please get an English translation of it. Most of you have done it, I'm pretty much sure about that. And get them notarized, get them signed, stamped by your school principal, bring them with you. That's exactly what we need. If you have had other degrees, other documents that are related to education, at this point I would say that it's not what we need. We need your high school documents, high school leaving documents. Be it a diploma, be it an Abitur, be it a Slutbetyg, be it a Vitnemal, whatever you call it in your country, the original language version and the English version should be with you when you come to Riga. Again, how do we plan to get those documents from you? It's going to be a bit more complicated because the university is closed for visitors, but definitely we'll send some updates, we'll let you know how it's done. Yeah? But just make sure that when you come to Riga, you have these documents with you. Yeah? Okay. Another thing, another update actually that we have discussed yesterday and even today morning on how you would be receiving documents from us. So first of all, there are 3 documents that we will be handing out. It is your student card, of course, which a lot of students are asking about. It is your e-ticket reference. An e-ticket is your bus card, you know, the plastic ticket that you use in public transportation. We will not give you the ticket itself. We will give you a reference. Thank you. A reference on how you can get the ticket and where you should go to get this ticket. And also your original study contract. If you remember from 5 minutes ago, I mentioned that we're still expecting some study contracts to come in. For those of you who have sent them in, we have them. We will give 1 copy back to you so that you have it with you, you keep it with you, you can send it back home. Just make sure that you know where it is and that it's safe because there are only 2 study contracts right now in the world that have been signed. It's your copy and it's our copy, both at the RSU right now. One we will give to you, that stays with you forever, just the same as our copy stays with us forever. So, in case you lose your study contract, in case you destroy it, throw it out, whatever you do, we will not give you our copy. So you should keep it safe, you should keep it where you know that it is, because again, it has a lot of information about your studies, about your rights and duties and all that. And it is actually the only legal document between you and us which confirms that you are a student, a full-time degree student of this university, so you should keep it where you know that it is, right? So we will be handing out these 3 documents: student cards, reference, and your study contract. We will hand out these documents through the student services. So that's the institution that is working with these things, basically. So those are the colleagues that you should get in touch with. The tricky part is that don't rush to the university just now, because as you know, the university is closed for visitors. So we will give out these documents in sort of bigger packages to group leaders. You were informed about group leader elections yesterday, and this is something we definitely suggest you to do quite soon, because again, nobody else will be able to receive the student cards and the references and the study agreements, only your group leaders. So instead of 400 people coming to the university and storming the doors and everything, we will be waiting for 32 people to get in touch with us. So every single group of medicine, every single group of dentistry, 1 person from the group leader, will have to come. You will have to, as you know, you will have to elect the group leader from, I think, until Tuesday next week. So on Tuesday next week, I will be expecting a list of group leaders from the International Student Association that I will distribute to the student services, who will know exactly which people are coming to pick up the packages for the entire group of these 3 documents that you see on the slide. Right? So what do? You elect your group leader until the 2nd of September. This is next week. And I know that some groups have already done that. Good job, fantastic. You already have things set in place and things set in motion so that you can speed up the process a bit. So how do we proceed with that? The group leader, now that you have been elected, those of you who have, and the groups that you haven't done that, please do. You have to call the student services via this number that you see on the slide. So I can actually tell you what the number is. So +371 67 409 074. That is the central phone number of student services, and they will be happy to make an appointment for you, specifically for you as a group leader. Yeah? So of course you will have to tell your name. They will check if you are indeed a group leader from the list that we have received, and then this person will have an appointment to receive the student cards and references and study contracts. Okay? So, group leaders, those of you who have been elected, or those of you who are running for the ballots and are probably going to be group leaders, this is exactly for you. What do? First of all, once you call the student services, when you have the appointment, it's a very important request for us that you actually come to the university when the given appointment time is. Otherwise, you're going to lose it. You have to make another appointment. It gets frustrating, gets messy. Don't forget that starting from next week, all the local students will also be going to the student services to receive their student cards, to renew them, and so on and so forth. So my suggestion is to try to elect the group leader sooner than later, and for the group leaders to call the student services, make the necessary arrangements up front, rather than, oh, okay, we're going to do it at the end of September. Your group mates might be very frustrated with you because you will not be able to provide them with the student cards and the references and all that. So this is your first assignment, your first task as a group leader to make this happen, to make this work. So you will have to show your ID document or your passport when you come to the student services. As I already mentioned, you will not be allowed inside the university premises. The colleagues from the student services probably will go outside to meet up with you. You will have to sign a specific statement by the RSU that, again, we're giving you student documents, so we're giving you sensitive personal information. And for that, you will have to sign that you agree that you will not provide this information to any third parties, anyone else. You're not going to send them to your parents or your friends or, I don't know, anyone else, but you will provide that only to your group mates. And this is, again, your task and duty. You will have to follow, again, the RSU privacy policy. So again, what do you do with personal data? How do you keep them? We will send you the links to these documents so that you can read them and understand what you're supposed to do with the student cards and what you're not supposed to do with them. Also, if you are going to be a group leader, and since this handing out of documents starts next week, I would suggest that the group leader is in Riga. So if you're still back home in, I don't know, New Zealand, and still only planning to arrive in Riga, let's say in late September, again, your group mates will be frustrated with you because they will not get their student cards. So make sure that the group leader is somebody who is either coming to Riga any day soon, or is already in Riga and can actually physically come to the university to pick up the documents. Yes, and of course, I mentioned that already, but the group leader will be responsible for the documents. So once we give them to you, once you sign that you have actually received the documents for your group, this is your call. This is your responsibility, that you provide that these documents are given to the right person, that they receive all of the documents, that you don't lose them on the way. So in case you come to the university by bike, make sure that your documents are in the folders, make sure that you don't lose them crossing the river or something. So, you know, these are documents, and you should keep them safe, and you should keep them the way you can give them to your group mates, right? So a lot of responsibility. And also, if something happens, again, if the documents catch on fire, if you throw them in the river, if something else goes wrong, if you do some damage, thank you, if the documents are lost, are destroyed or something, this is sort of your fault. So again, more responsibility on your shoulders. Be responsible. That's the only thing I can suggest. You are all grown-ups. You're all you know, at least 18 years old, and yeah, this is where the real life starts, both in terms of your studies and in terms of your responsibility as a group leader. Yeah, so a pretty important first assignment for you that you should, yeah, you know, check, and this, the last sentence on the slide that you probably cannot see properly is, please choose your group leaders responsibly. So do not pick the loudest guy, do not pick the most active student maybe, pick the one who's the most responsible. I know you still don't know your group mates, you haven't met them, but you have your WhatsApp groups, you have probably found each other on Facebook. If you haven't, please do. And those guys who already created WhatsApp groups, kudos, great job, great thinking. You already have your group together, right? So for the other groups, I would suggest to do the same. Try to find each other so that you know who are all these other 14, 15 people that are in your group. Elect your group leader soon enough, let us know, the information will follow. So we take it step by step. There's no rush today, but this is something I thought I should mention. We have already received the very first group leader information. So Laura, I will send you an email today on what's happening. We will process your group documents today. So if you call the student services today, chances are that early next week you can come to the university and you can pick up your documents. This is for Medicine 12. Since you have elected your group leader, great. Problem solved. You've been the first ones to do it. Good job. So you will be receiving the documents earlier than everybody else, and that's something I would encourage other group leaders to do as well. Right. I do have some questions. I think I can take them up right now, because then we're going for immigration, which will be not an easy presentation, and you know, brace yourselves and try to follow. It's not going to be for everyone. Again, we mostly concentrate on students who come from outside the EU, but again, I will be repeating some of the things that the colleague from the immigration office already mentioned, but yeah, try to bear with us and try to make sure that you understand what exactly we put on the slides. So the questions. So it's correct that we have lectures from 8 in the evening until 9:30. This is something you have to ask the dean's office if you want to have a specific answer about your group. But basically, you check your My RSU page, you check your timetable. If it says that you have classes from 8 in the evening until 9:30, obviously you have a class at that time. As far as I know, the Anatomy Center, for example, is open from 8 in the morning until 10 at night, physically, for physical attendance, which again is not possible at the moment. But yeah, you might have classes late in the evening. Double check with the dean's office. Ask your group mate to do that. It's going to be easier that way. But if your timetable says so, yeah, it might be true. It has to be true. Where do I find my immatriculation letter? What exactly do you mean by immatriculation letter? You do have your offer letter. You have your study contract. Your study contract is your document that states that you are a student of this university. If you need a specific reference and that's something we've been talking about for 3 days now, if you have to get a reference to somebody that you are a student, which is not your study contract, if the company or, I don't know, authority asks you for a specific letter that says you are a student here, that is something you can get from student services. You write to their email, you request for a reference that you are a student, you get it via email, so that should be relatively easily done. But just to mention once again, your study contract is the only document that officially states that you are a student of this university. Not the offer letter. The reference is just a reference. Study contract is the #1 document, I would say. So again, I'm stressing the importance of this document. If I send my application in paper form, I don't need to bring you any documents anymore. Very good question. Yes. If you were one of those very few students who managed to send in their applications to us in paper form by regular mail or DHL or TNT or whatever the company was, that's fine. We have your documents. You don't have to provide anything else. For those of you who only uploaded your educational documents to the online system, yes, you have to bring the papers now. Okay? If you have provided them earlier on, no need to do that once again. Okay? Another question, where do we excuse ourselves from a course when we travel to Riga on that day? Again, you contact the Dean's office. The Dean's office is always the office that actually works with you on daily basis regarding your study things, right? So you have to contact the Dean's office. What do we do probably if don't have or want Facebook? Is the another way to figure out group members, leaders? Okay, so if you're not on Facebook, I'm guessing that's what the question is about. If you're not on Facebook, what is the other way on how you can get in touch with your group mates? I already mentioned WhatsApp. That's probably the most easiest and convenient way to get in touch. Also, yeah, it's a good question actually, because if you're not on Facebook, where I think 99% of you are, and if you're not using WhatsApp, could be tricky. Maybe you know somebody from your group, maybe somebody from your group can put you through to others. This is something you decide within your group. But WhatsApp is probably best. Facebook is good. You know, whatever you do, maybe your group leader can come up with an idea. That's sort of your call to find your group mates right now. Can we come to the student services in quarantine? No, of course not. If you're in quarantine, if you're self-isolating, you don't move around that much. You stay indoors, you stay in your self-isolation place. If you are under quarantine, which is even more severe and strict than self-isolation, you don't go anywhere. So, first of all, again repeating myself, but you don't come to the university is closed. Only your group leaders, as an exception for you to get your documents, can come and pick up something. You as a student, one of the students, especially in quarantine or in self-isolation, you're not allowed inside. So please let us know. We can do some things via email. We can ask your group mates to help maybe, but don't come to the university. You will not be allowed inside. Simple as that. Okay? Right. So I did answer all the questions that I had with me right now. Moving on to immigration. So this is the time when you brace yourselves. This is the time when you listen carefully. A lot of information again, because this is just so complicated at the moment, and that's why the first sentence on the slide says strange times, different uncertainties. We are receiving a lot of mixed information. We're receiving different requests from you, from your airline companies, from your agencies, from your parents, you name it. Different contradicting information, mixed messages time after time. So I would suggest getting in touch with us, okay? We have tried to reach out to all of you, especially, and I'm talking about students who require a visa, who have residence permits, who have special passports, dual citizenships, all sorts of things. You have to reach out to us. We sent an email to you yesterday, so some of you have already replied about your arrival date and all that. Thank you for that. The next step for us, now that we know when you're planning to arrive in Riga, is to get to know your immigration situation. So some of you don't have to do anything with it. Some of you have done everything with it. Some of you are still in the process. Those of you in the process, please let us know. And it's at this moment, as I said, it's just way too complicated to try and follow every single case that you might have with immigration. So, all of these uncertainties, let us know. Let us know, as the, unusually large letters on the slide say, let us know what documents, what references, what letters you need for immigration specifically. So I'm not talking about EU citizens. If you come from EU or Norway or Switzerland, you're fine, you're safe. Don't worry, everything is perfect. If you come from a country where you need a visa or you're not part of the EU or something, let us know. Because we, as I said, we get different requests. Some people are saying, oh, the letter from university that I'm going to be a student is perfectly fine. Some are saying my study contract is going to be perfectly fine, send it to me. Some are saying I cannot get my visa appointment, I cannot get my police clearance. As you see, a lot of different documents, cases, let us know what it is exactly that you need. Ask your agents to contact us, but reach out to us. We cannot know what exactly your country, your embassy, your carrier as an airline company is requesting from you. We need to know this from you, okay? So work with us, we'll help you as much as we can. Eventually, we hope that you will all come to Riga by the end of September. Then again, we are 100% sure that there will be some people who will not be able to make it because of these strange restriction, pandemic, travel, flight rules, okay? Let us know so that we know what is your case, what is your situation. And as I said, most of you have already sent us some information, so we know bits and pieces, or actually quite a lot about those of you. If you haven't reached out to us, we don't know anything about you, make sure that we do know what's your situation with immigration. And again, those of you who are from EU countries who don't need to get any documents or anything, yeah, you can now have a break, go make yourself a coffee, go walk a dog, whatever you do. This is only for these people that are on the slide. There are 26 of you. And then I tried to put together 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different situations that I could work out from your countries of residence or your visa situations or something. There is one student with a dual citizenship, which is your citizenship is Germany and South Africa. If this is you, you know who you are. No immigration. Fantastic. You are a citizen of Germany as well as South Africa. Germany is an EU country. You don't have to worry about immigration. You are on the slide just because you have a very specific situation of dual citizenship, right? So for you, nothing to do. Don't worry. Don't stress out. You are actually one of the EU students, right? Then we do have people from visa-free regime countries. What does it mean? It means that in normal situations, in normal times, you can come to Riga without any documents. You just buy a plane ticket, get on board, come to Riga, and then you do the immigration, right? Out of all of you, I counted that there are 3 Israeli students, 2 students from Georgia, a student from Canada, 1 student from US, and 1 student from Ukraine. I'm talking about your passports, not your place of residence. Yeah? So you're a citizen of this country. You will be getting your residence permit once you are in Latvia. So to the best of our knowledge, you don't have to get any documents done before you come to Latvia. As you can see, for Ukraine and also for Israel, there should have been an asterisk, which means that there is a specific case already that we have discovered. So for Israeli students, we have heard, especially from our senior students, that you need a letter once you buy a plane ticket stating that you are a student. And this letter you need to provide to the, basically when you are at the airport, you need to show this letter to the airline company so that they know why you are traveling to Latvia. If you need this letter, let us know. We'll prepare it. We have done it for many students. This is concerning only Israeli students, okay? Because your country or your airplane company has these rules. Then again, for Ukraine, also there's 1 student from Ukraine who's struggling to come to Riga because there is a rumor, I would say, that you also need some sort of documents, and it's not just a letter from the university, you need to get a visa. If that is your case, let us know. We'll try to have the invitation ready as soon as we can. You will have to hand in the documents to the Latvian embassy in Ukraine, and we will work from there, okay? But as you can hear and tell, I'm repeating myself, let us know what is your specific case so that we can help you to come to Riga in due time. Then getting more complicated, we have, well, actually it's not complicated. This is an easy row. If you have a residence permit, so TRP is temporary residence permit in Latvia already, And we have counted that there are 6 students that have this situation. 2 students from Turkey, a student from Mexico, a student from India, a student from Uzbekistan, a student from Israel. If this is you, okay, again, you have the information, no need for a visa. With your Latvian residence permit, you can come and go. Again, if there is a specific thing, your airline company is asking, no, even though you have the residence permit, you still need to get a letter from university. Let us know. As I said, we cannot know what each airline company is asking you to have with you when you try to board the plane, okay? Let us know. Then we do have 3 students with Ethiopian, Syrian, and Egyptian nationality who are residing in Europe, not in Latvia, in some other European country, and you have a residence permit in that specific country. Once again, the latest information we have is that you don't need to have a visa, and your Latvian residence permit will be prepared once you come to Latvia. Once again, a friendly reminder: if you're buying plane tickets and you know something comes up and somebody or the company says, look, you have to get some sort of certification from the university, why are you coming to Riga? Let us know. We'll prepare the documents, just let us know, okay? If I'm not mistaken, with all these cases, I'm talking about students living in Sweden. So if it is you, you know who you are, let us know in case you need something in addition from what is on the slide. And then the most tricky cases or the most complicated cases, there are 8 students who require a visa to come to Latvia, and we see that there are 2 students from Russia, 2 students from India, a student from Azerbaijan, Uzbekistan, Sierra Leone, and Pakistan. If you are one of these students, you will need to get a visa. I know at least 2 or 3 of you have already received your visas or are in the process of receiving that. Very good. You are quite far away in the process, so I'm happy for you. If you haven't started your visa procedure, now's the time to let us know. I need a visa, please prepare the invitation, okay? And we'll do it in 2 days. Just let us know. Letting us know is the key in this moment. So again, was not an easy table to put together, even though there's not a lot of information, but please make sure that you recognize in which group exactly you are, because on that depends the way we will be working with you in terms of immigration, okay? Right, some more slides, and I'm probably going to go over them rather quickly because this is something what the colleague from the immigration office already mentioned. So just a friendly reminder, if you are an EU, EEA citizen, EU countries, you probably know who you are. EEA means Norway, Switzerland, Liechtenstein, Iceland, and that I think is it. So if you are a citizen of those countries, and a Swiss, students from Switzerland as well, if you are one of these people, you don't have to get your immigration on compulsory basis. Actually, the immigration office suggests you not to do it because, again, you're traveling back and forth. The free movement of people within the EU is without any restrictions, so it should be easy. Yeah. Then again, we know that there are some specific cases when you might need to do your immigration, and we try to name some of them on the slide. So in case you are already thinking of buying an apartment in Riga, you definitely will need to register with the immigration office to do that. Yeah. Once again, this is only for EU, EEA citizens. For those students that were on the slide with their residence permits and visas, don't listen to this. This is not related to your situation, okay? Opening a bank account. If you plan to do it, again, you will probably be requested to have a Latvian ID and a Latvian registration, so that's another case. Different services, and every year, I have to say, we get more and more questions about these services. So internet connections, you know, you need to have a hardwired telephone in your home, whatever the reason for that. Yeah, they might ask, the companies might ask for your Latvian registration, and so immigration office is where you do that. Some other reason, for example, just recently we had a case coming up, and this is related to dentistry students, not you. This is just an example with the dentistry students who are already in senior years. They have to do their practice starting from next week. So for these students, again, a mandatory requirement is that you hand in your COVID-19 test. And it turns out that if you have a Latvian registration, you can take the test for free. If you don't have a Latvian registration, you have to pay 60 euros. So now those students that have done the immigration, it's free of charge, the test is free of charge. If you haven't done it, it's 60 euros. So again, Strange times, pandemic situation, not a usual case, but just came up 2 days ago when we discovered that some students actually would have benefited with an immigration. At the same time, it's not compulsory, you don't have to do it unless there's a very serious reason for you to do it. Yeah? And if in case you decide that immigration is something you want to do, then you contact the immigration office, you go to them, you submit the documents, receive a plastic card, which is sort of like your Latvian identity, which doesn't cancel your citizenship. It doesn't do anything bad to you. It's just that you have been officially registered in Latvia. And you can use the services and the, you can do some things that are mentioned on the slide and maybe something else because you might need that, right? Yes, and an address declaration as well. If you do the immigration, there are additional rules that you have to follow. You have to inform the immigration office every single time something changes. Let's say you change your passport, you change your place of residence. So becoming registered in Latvia means additional things you might need to do later on during your studies. You might not have time for that. Then again, if you have been registered, it is your duty, it is your responsibility by law to actually go to the immigration office and to complete the procedures when necessary. Otherwise, we have had some very strange and I would say, thank you, unpleasant cases of students receiving a knock on a door. You turn, you're at home, you open the door, and you have state border guards there. Guys in uniforms with guns saying, look, we see that your passport has expired in Latvia and you have been registered with us. What's the deal? You know, have you received your new passport? Oh, you have, good. Now you have to pay a fine and you have to explain yourself why exactly you didn't inform the immigration office about the change of passport. Just a simple reminder that if you become registered, there are responsibilities and duties that you technically are supposed to know, even though you probably never read the immigration law. So there you go. Immigration for EU countries, not compulsory. If you decide to do it, if there's a reason to do it, go ahead, we'll help you. We'll guide you through the process. There's information on the website, but just to remember that there is a responsibility with being registered in this country as well. Health insurance. And there was supposed to be this picture, yes, on the slide as well. People usually ask about the health insurance things in general and specifically which insurances do we buy, which insurance can we use in Latvia. Again, first of all, the European health insurance card that you see on the slide, the bluish card that you can get in Europe, that's something that you can use for all basic medical services. Again, if you have a pre-planned operation or you want to do a plastic surgery, this will not work. This is just for emergency situations and basic medical care. But as far as I know, in many countries, you do have your own personal or your family insurance, which is usually for life or at least for 5 or 10 years. So you have to contact those companies and just make sure that you know which services they cover in Latvia. If they don't, ask them if there's a way that you can add Latvia to the territories where they provide their services. Just make sure that your insurance card is valid in this country as well. Most of them are, but just to double check, make sure that your insurance company and you are on one page about this, right? And yeah, then again, of course, you can buy local insurances. If you do immigration, you might actually have to do it. It costs about 40 euros. It's for 1 year, covers the same services as the blue card, and also the repatriation, which is something that we hope that never happens to you in this country. Right, and if you want to give it a read, find some more information about it, Welcome Guide on our website. You can Google it on RSU website. Welcome Guide, page 52 is the one where you can find information about insurance as well. But as I said, most of you probably have your own insurance from back home, which is valid and everything. So this is basically what I already mentioned. Check if your insurance is valid in Latvia and Schengen area. Latvia is part of Schengen area, so it's the same thing. If it's valid in Schengen area, it will be valid in Latvia as well. Make sure that your insurance covers at least 43,000 euros. Most insurance companies cover way more than that. This is the maximum amount, right? So if it's more, then definitely you're fine. If it's only 5,000 euros, you might need to have a better insurance, I would say. And repatriation, yes, that's something that basically what happens is in case you die in Latvia, your body will be brought back home. So as I said, we hope this never happens. But again, your insurance should cover that. Otherwise, you are stuck in Latvia. Right, getting away from the morbid things. If you already have this valid insurance card, yeah, and if you're going for immigration, and for all intents and purposes, I would suggest you to have this letter that is mentioned on the bottom of the slide, a letter from insurance company stating what services they cover, in what amount, and the letter should be in English, of course, or in Latvian, in case your insurance company can provide that. Probably not, so then the letter in English would be fine, yeah, because again, something happens, you have an emergency, you go to the hospital, you give them the nurses, for example, you give your insurance card, they don't know what it is. Good that you have additional letter that states what exactly this card covers, but I'm assuming that in most of the cases for medical services, for any emergency services in Latvia, you would be needing to pay upfront, and then you contact your insurance company and they will reimburse the expenditure that you have for medical situation and assistance and services. So what do? Again, you contact your insurance company and ask them what exactly is the procedure if something happens to you in Latvia. If you fall ill, if you break your leg or something else, just ask them, because that's sort of their responsibility to tell you what exactly you will be doing or will be needing to do in the case of emergency that has to do with your health. Right. And yes, some information on where you can find basically everything that I've talked about. And if you go to the website, if you check, and you will see some arrows and some circles where the information is. So RSU website, English page. You go on top, there is an option to choose students. You click on that. And immigration procedures, as you can see, it looks exactly the same as in the picture in the slide. You click on that, and then you see either it's the EU insurance or non-EU insurance, and you follow the rules in case you need to do that. Once again, if you come from outside the EU, those 26 of you that have been admitted to RSU, let us know what is your immigration situation so that we can work it out in a most easy and convenient way possible. As I said, it can be complicated. If you come from the EU country, you can read the immigration part, but basically you're done. You don't have to do anything on compulsory basis. We do have prepared the brochure as well. It looks like this. It is in our office. It is also on the website. And this is, as you can see and as you can read on the slide, it is for EU and EEA citizens. So for those of you who want to do the non-compulsory immigration, you can check out the information on what exactly happens in step by step. We start with the documents you need to have, and we finish with where to submit the received immigration document that you might have. Yeah? And of course, you can definitely always contact admissions via admissions@rsu.lv, but you can also contact, and I would actually suggest contacting colleagues via immigration@rsu.lv or by calling this number. You will reach my colleague in the office, and we can work out, hopefully, every single possible and impossible immigration situation that you might be in. Yeah? So this is whom to contact, immigration@rsu.lv. Right. Anything else? It seems that that's it, but I do have some questions with me. So let's run through those. Do we have to be done with self-isolation first to pick up the things from RSU as a group leader? Okay, common sense kicking in. So if you do the self-isolation, and guys, I'm referring to you as future doctors and dentists, which is a medical profession, and we're talking about a medical situation, a COVID pandemic. Sorry to be sort of a bit pushy, but this is common sense. If you are under self-isolation, or even worse than that, if you are under quarantine, you're not allowed to come to the university until you finish this quarantine, hopefully soon, and self-isolation that is usually 2 weeks. As a group leader, if you are being elected as a group leader right now, and you already know that your COVID test is positive, don't come to the university. You will not be allowed inside, okay? Take care of your own health first. Take care of us, by the way. You probably don't want to, be contagious on the streets of Riga. Try to make this country and keep this country the safest COVID country in Europe as it is right now. So if you are under quarantine and self-isolation, don't come to the university. Even if you're a group leader, this doesn't give anything to you at the moment because you are under self-isolation and quarantine. Stay there, stay safe, become healthy again, and then you come to the university. Okay? Right? So again, this is common sense, but try to follow the medical rules first because your safety, your health is the utmost priority right now. Everything else comes after that, okay? How will the exams and tests happen the first semester? Dean's office, email that is foreign@rsu.lv. Please write to my colleagues. They will be happy to answer your questions on how the exams and tests will happen in the first semester. What should we write on the arrival form if we don't have an address yet? Okay, supposing you need to be in self-isolation, you don't have an address. How on earth do you plan to go in self-isolation if you don't have a place to stay in Riga? You should be booking a hotel. You should be finding an apartment before your arrival, naturally, because when you come to university, we're closed. And by the way, you cannot live on university premises, right? So you have to find a place of residence. Preferably, it has to be the same place where you will be having the self-isolation, right? So if you have booked an apartment and you do need to do the self-isolation, you go there, you stay there for 2 weeks. Hopefully, you're fine, nothing happens, you come to the university, or your group leader comes to the university or something, right? So I'm a bit puzzled about this question, so in case you're coming to Riga, you should have an address, okay? If not, better try to find some place to stay, okay? Right, so, and if you don't have the address, if you're still looking for that, I think the form is flexible enough that you can write, I'm still looking for a place, I don't have a specific place yet, I'm in the process, so you should be able to fill something like that there, okay? About EU citizens, if we don't leave the country every 3 months, we need the Latvian ID card. Once again, getting Latvian ID card is your call. Because to tell you a secret, but you have traveled a lot, I believe, so you know this from your own personal experience. If you travel within Schengen countries, within Schengen area, does anybody check you on the border? Do you have to provide your passport to the border guards and show why you're traveling to Latvia or something? You don't. So within Schengen area, nobody checks you on the border, to be honest, right? If you come from outside the Schengen area, let's say if you fly in from London, yes, you will be checked, your passport will be checked and you know, everything. But if you are living in Schengen area and come to Latvia, nobody will ever know when exactly you arrived in this country. Did you stay for exactly 3 months or 2 months and 28 days or 3 months and 12 days? Not that important, okay? So again, the system is made in a way that if you come from the EU, it's very flexible, you know, it's easy for you to commute, right? We have talked about specific what-if cases, and one what-if case is, you know, okay, so you have been in Latvia for 89 days, so you know by the rules that you should leave Latvia in order to be able to prolong those 90 days and not do immigration. Our borders are relatively close, so I mean, you go about 70 kilometers to Lithuania, you cross the border, you come back immediately, you're done. This is your immigration, right? So just an example of how simple it is for EU nationals. If you come from a non-EU country, a whole lot of different rules set in and yeah, different procedures. And the last question, how do I open a bank account? Do I have to immigrate? Yes, in most of the cases, the bank will ask you for the Latvian ID. So first of all, you get the Latvian ID, then you open the bank account. In some banks, they take it easily, they don't do that, but in most cases they might ask for the Latvian ID. But again, from my experience, maybe 0.5% of our students have bank accounts in Latvia. Usually you don't need them. If you plan to open a bank account, you do the immigration as well, just to be on a safe side, okay? So, I believe this is it. You still have the slide on with the immigration email. Once again, a kind reminder, send your requests there. If you have an immigration situation, or even if you just have thoughts about it and you're wondering about it. If not, thank you for listening, and thank you for being able to follow all of this, because I know this is technical information. This can be frustrating and misleading and unclear. But once again, if you have questions, let us know. We'll be happy to answer. Thank you.